Hello again, everybody. This is John with Best Price Nutrition. Today we have Christy from New Chapter. Today we're going to go through a couple probiotic products from New Chapter, specifically the Probiotic Immunity and the Probiotic Flora. Again, if you guys have seen some of our videos before, we've touched on how important we think probiotics are. It's not a new thing, I would say. You know, it's kind of been... There's more and more research coming out every day as to all the benefits of probiotics. You know, sometimes people think, you know, I'll just take some fiber and, you know, that's going to cure any of my gut health problems, which just couldn't be further from the truth. So why don't we just real briefly touch on some of the benefits of probiotics, and then we could also go into some of the things that make New Chapter's probiotics unique. In that, you know, you guys are using a lot of strains. You know, because sometimes people hear probiotic and say, well, I eat my yogurt and that has acidophilus, and you're kind of selling yourself short because you're getting one strain of a probiotic.
Right.
So what would be some of the brief benefits that you want to cover?
Sure.
In probiotics?
And I think the first thing is probiotics really have become a part of like the modern supplement regimen, right? And there's reasons for that. You know, the first thing is really that the human digestive tract is home to 400 to 500 microorganisms. So that sort of speaks to what you were talking about, doing a broad spectrum probiotic, because there's a lot of different areas you need to target.
Sure.
You're actually supposed to have 3 to 5 pounds of good bacteria in your gut. The ratio is supposed to be 85 to 15. That's good bacteria to, you know, quote unquote bad bacteria.
Sure.
But unfortunately, what has happened due to modern lifestyle and overuse of antibiotics and poor diets, refined foods, is we actually have about 80 to 90% of the unfriendly bacteria. Okay. So remember, it's supposed to be, you know, 85 to 15.
Keep that balance.
So very imbalanced. And some of the benefits to having probiotics, why do we need this good bacteria in our gut, is they are really essential to properly digesting and absorbing your nutrition. I mean, this is really the basis to life.
Sure.
You know, that's why we're taking a multivitamin. So your probiotics are really essential for that. They inhibit the growth of that harmful bacteria, which by those statistics we see is really unbalanced right now. They help us manufacture B vitamins, really essential for energy, right? Really good for muscles. They also give us immune support, and they protect the growth of colon cells.
Okay. So you mentioned there's, on average, we're talking 400 to 500 different species of microorganisms in your gut at any given time, assuming you have a good, healthy gut flora. And then you brought up something interesting with the ratio, you know, 85% good and 15% bad. Now somebody may hear that and say, well, why do I even have 15% bad? Well, like you said, when you have that 85% healthy, that keeps that 15% in check. They're going to be there, it is what it is, and they have to reach a critical mass in order to affect you badly. So it's something that I thought was very interesting that you brought up. And then, like you said, overall, immune health actually, or health in general, really begins with your GI tract. If you can't absorb anything, what good are you, right?
Absolutely. I think what you touched on too with the multi-strains is that's an important thing, because I think it can be confusing for people. What do I choose? You know, we read research on different strains and why they're beneficial, and the truth is there's a wide range that's beneficial, and that's because of all those different microorganisms that are naturally present in the gut. So it's really important to choose a probiotic that has a blend, and what we're using is, you know, the 10 most researched strains of probiotics, and that's really important because they are going to colonize in different areas in the gut. What can happen if you take just a single strain, you can almost oversaturate yourself, so you're almost adding to the imbalance, and it can even lead to sort of an autoimmune picture in the person. And as far as immune health goes, you know, the probiotics in general will support immune health, but there's a really core reason for that, and that is that 70% of our immune health is actually based in our gut. You know, people don't realize that, but 70% of our immune health actually starts in the gut.
Okay. And you mentioned something interesting with the compartments in the GI tract, because you're talking about different pHs, you know, the stomach being very acidic, you know, the small intestine you start to alkalize, and then you have the colon. So, like you said, if you're just, the body's very intuitive, so if you overdo it with too much of one specific strain, that's not necessarily a good thing either, because, like I said, you have different species of bacteria thrive in different environments. You know, some of them are acid lovers.
We don't want to add to the imbalance, right? We know there's already an imbalance to begin with, and we don't want to add to the imbalance.
Exactly, and then we think we're doing all these great things, and we're not, when we're just oversaturating that way. Now, let's get into the specifics of the probiotics from New Chapter. Now, they're whole food probiotics. You know, we've talked a lot about New Chapter, and things are whole food. And there's also prebiotics in there, and those of you who don't know, prebiotics are food for the bacteria. So when the bacteria are in these capsules, they have something to live off of. When they're in your gut, well, they live on your foods and, you know, everything else that is in your gut flora. Now, what makes these whole food?
Yep. So these are a lot of good points that you bring up, and I think the first thing that makes the product different is we are actually giving you the growing medium along with the good bacteria. We're encapsulating everything together.
Okay.
What you'll typically find with a probiotic is they're growing the bacteria, they centrifuge them away in favor of giving you really high cell counts. They're trying to ensure that enough live cells get to the gut by giving you a whole bunch of them. But what we do is we're going to do the whole food story, and that's we're going to give you the growing source along with the bacteria, so we're giving you the whole colony. This ensures that they really are active, happy, healthy, they know how to communicate with each other. And then along with that, like you said, we're doing the prebiotics. For us, that is the certified organic apple and Jerusalem artichoke inulin. That's the food for those bacteria to continue to thrive and live on. The whole point of taking a probiotic, and in order for them to do their job, they have to make it into the gut and they have to colonize. So by giving them, giving you the probiotics in their colony that they were first growing in so that they're really healthy, and giving you a food source for them to continue to thrive on, you're ensuring that they're going to colonize once they get into the gut. Now, another thing about that is the inulin in there is not only food source for them, it actually helps them bypass stomach acid. So you're ensuring, again, as many live cells get to the gut for colonization as possible.
Gotcha. So those species that don't live in the stomach can make it to their area, whether it be the small intestine or the colon. And then you brought up colonize, which is really important because I think sometimes people lose track of that. That very much so is important because these bacteria can end up just running through you if they're not healthy, and also they have to be able to cleave that surface of your GI tract in order to colonize and take up those niches that are present. So when you're doing that, that's very, very important. Now, what's the difference between the probiotic immunity and the probiotic Flora, and can they be taken together, or should they be taken together?
They don't need to be taken together. So the base of the probiotic immunity is Flora. That's our good bacteria. It's that blend of the different strains. The immunity is going to add our supercritical extract of elderberry to it. And if you remember, we said 70% of immune health starts in the gut. So we're giving you that extra boost for immune health. Our supercritical extract of elderberry is 10 times as potent as your typical elderberry on the market. You're talking about getting over 1,000 active components of the elderberry versus 100 to 150. And we actually extract for something different. Typically, your elderberry product in the market is going to extract for something called rutin, and it's a great antioxidant, but doesn't have necessarily a direct impact on immune health. We extract for something called proanthocyanidins. That's what makes them purple, and that really has direct impact on immune health. So what we're doing is giving you our really powerful elderberry in with your probiotics, so you're delivering them directly to the source, directly to 70% of immune health. So you're getting a probiotic and immune support in one. What some people will do is they take Flora, throughout the year, but during immune season they switch it and start taking the probiotic immunity, so they get a 2-in-1 product.
Now, neither of these need to be kept refrigerated, is that correct?
They don't. So our probiotics are actually stable. Once you open them, we do recommend that just if you refrigerate them, you are going to prolong the life, but you don't have to be. And if you're taking them in any sort of regular fashion, it's fine either way.
Sure. And the refrigeration basically slows the growth of the bacteria, so you can...
It prolongs the life, yes. Yeah. But you should be taking them every day. So.
Yes, yeah.
So it's an either or.
Don't just leave them in the fridge, because the whole point is to, you almost want to inundate your GI tract with these.
But they are shelf
on a daily
stable.
basis.
Yes.
Yeah, and the reason why you want to keep taking them is, 50% of feces is, at least 50% is going to be bacteria. So you are constantly getting rid of it as well, so you have to replace it, right? So that's something else. Now, we mentioned immunity being added to the probiotic immunity, also having the elderberry, and then we have the Flora. Now, I kind of think of these all as being good for the immune system, as we discussed, because digestive health begins with it. This just has the added bonus of the elderberry. You said you take that during cold and flu season would be a good time to do that. Now, is there anything else about these specific that you wanted to tell us?
I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of the details and stuff. Sometimes with probiotics we could do, hours of video. So more and more research keeps coming out. And as we said, the importance of these cannot be overstated. For athletes, if you want to absorb all your nutrients well, you got to have a good gut flora. You can't sell that short. And just for everyday people, it's very, very important.
I think it's just what we talked about. Due to modern lifestyle, really probiotics are just as important as taking your daily multivitamin. There's so many health benefits to it. And then when New Chapter is concerned and the whole food story to probiotics, it's knowing that you're getting all of the most clinically researched strains for diversification to cover all aspects of gut health. You're getting the food source to keep the bacteria alive, active, happy, healthy. And that's really what it's about at the end of the day, so that the bacteria actually colonizes and can do its job.
Got it.
And that's what you get with Flora or any of the variations with added herbal support.
Okay, well, I hope we were able to make clear the importance of probiotics. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to post them in the video in the comments, also on our blog. Thank you, Christy, and thank you.